All right, before we get started, I know the camera is looking like it's got this weird glare going on. I cannot tell you what the problem is. I tried wiping it down and it was doing some weird thing. The camera doesn't look like it's cracked or broke from the outside. So I don't know if it's an internal issue. Apple products, yeah, one of these days, and not on here, but one of these days, we're going to have an honest conversation about Apple products. But we're here to talk about tarot, not Apple products. And again, excuse me for the weird, smudgy, glary camera. If it's looking, it looks better now. It looked a lot worse before I wiped it down. But still, it just looks weird. And I don't do anything on this laptop other than these videos and answer emails and stuff and type things. So it's like I don't understand. But anyways, again, this video is not going to be about that. Let's talk about the autumn equinox, or at least here in the northern hemisphere. It's going to be the autumn equinox. Wherever you are in other parts of the world, it is the spring equinox, although the equinox, either way, the equinox is happening now. So I'm going to do a reading for three signs today. One of the signs being Cancer. Y'all was chosen by the generator. So if you have Cancer anywhere in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, this is your reading. So I have a few notes here about the equinox for those who want a clarification. That glare is getting as worse as it was before. Again, I apologize, but hopefully you can still hear me. I'll know by the time this is done. But pretty much it's about balance. The equinox is equilibrium, or just equality in general, and just having a healthy balance in your life. Particularly, this equinox symbolizes like an equinox or balance within your personal relationships. Okay, all of them: romantic, platonic, work relationships, family dynamics, community-based relationships, whatever that is, all types of relationships. It is a time where we should all, not just the three signs that I'm going to be reading for today, but everybody should be thinking about their relationships. And I'm going to use the word audit, but I know some people don't like that word. They think it means to just, I guess, just remove everybody from your life. What I'm saying by audit is that you would have to look into the personal relationships you have. Again, family, platonic, romantic, whatever, friendships even. It's to simply just look at those relationships deeply. And I mean like in a deeper look at what has been working, what has been working, what isn't working, the dynamic of you all's relationship in general. And if there is imbalance in any sort, now is the time, or at least today is the time to, again, reflect on it, but think of ways of how you are going to obtain that balance in the areas where there is an imbalance. That could be, again, removing people or removing certain things or aspects even about yourself in order to create that balance that you want. And it could be just having a conversation. This is also a time where having those uncomfortable, in quotation marks, conversations with, again, the people in your life is much needed right now. Again, because you want to have a balance, and to continue to go on with an imbalance because it might be safe, in quotation marks, or just it might be you're a non-confrontational individual. You have to think that in order for you, you have to decide, honestly, like, in order for you to want better for your life, it don't matter what I say in these readings, it don't matter what any other reader you might pay attention to says, anybody else in this field might say. Oh man, that smudge it's killing me, to be honest with you. But we gonna continue. But it doesn't matter what any of us might say. The simple fact of the matter is if if you're not willing to change some things in order to create balance within your life, you can't get upset at things not going your way or not being ideal, when now is the time to focus on making these decisions, and going forward as well is the time to make these decisions as well. But ultimately it's your decision on whether you want to make these moves or not, in regards to, because it's not just you auditing your relationships with others, it's you auditing your relationship with yourself and in the world, how you're showing up as an individual. It's a period of reflection nonetheless, whether it's, again, reflecting on your personal relationships with others or yourself. So you have to ask a few of these questions in regards to either, even if you have a partner or you don't have a partner. If you don't have a partner, ask yourself a question. An example of like auditing yourself would be, how am I showing up in my relationships, or how do I want to show up in my relationships? Let's just say it's a romantic relationship, right? Think about your past relationships. Maybe one just ended, maybe whatever the case is, right? Think about a past relationship you've had and truly be honest with yourself. How did you show up in that relationship? Don't say you was the lover, the giver, if you wasn't, or don't make it seem as though like you were just like the perfect partner and you're the person you was with, it just didn't appreciate you. Like, be honest with yourself, okay? If you were the giver, yet you weren't necessarily the one receiving as much as you was giving, that's an imbalance. That's an area of imbalance, and therefore that's an area where you should focus a lot on when it comes to creating a balance, okay? Maybe in your next relationship, you decide, okay, I'm still going to be the giving individual, but I am going to make room for receiving as well. And I am going to make it clear to my partner that I would like, in order for this relationship to work out, it can't just be me doing all of the giving, And if you are in a relationship, think about again how you're showing up within your relationship right now. Okay, think about the past as well. Not in the sense of I miss this partner because they did X, Y, and Z and this partner doesn't, or my partner does things this other person didn't do. No, think about yourself. Think about, ways that you may have showed up in the past that you're not showing up now. Think about ways, and again, vice versa, how you're showing up now in which you didn't show up in the past. And creating a balance is all about creating it so that it's fitting for yourself and for your partner as well, and these are just some of the few things that you should reflect on, okay? Especially if you are in again, the northern hemisphere, the autumn equinox. Now, for my folks who are luckily having spring weather right now, the spring equinox is more so of a renewal and rejuvenation. But it is, again, being led by authenticity, and being true to yourself, how you're showing up, but more so focused on you as an individual rather than you as an individual in a relationship or how your relationship dynamics are showing up. It's more so led by how you are showing up, and not allowing fear or conformity to dictate how, again, you show up in the world. in the world, period. And we're not talking about specific relationships, specific worldly relationships, but in the world, period. How are you showing up? So that's for the spring equinox, folks. Either or, it's about balance with however, wherever the weather is like in your part of the globe. It's about balance. Okay, there's an imbalance here, whether it's an imbalance in my relationships or myself. I want to create a balance, so therefore I have to reflect on what isn't work or what's in imbalance and what is in balance. Okay, how do I keep these things in balance? How do I keep these things from going in imbalance? And again, thinking about how to make the imbalances in your life balance out to where it's fitting for you. But again, it's not on some selfish tip, even though a lot of the reflection that one should do at this time is thinking about themselves, because you can't think for your partner. You know what I'm saying? You can, again, think about what you can do for your partner, again, whether you have one or whether you are, you want one, you desire one. Think about how you can show up for your partner. Simple as that. You won't know, obviously, their love language and this, that, and the third until you get to know them. But that doesn't mean you can't necessarily think of ways of how to show up for a partner. Yeah, we all have our love languages, but there are just general things that one can do for their partner. And I'm speaking in a romantic sense, but like there are just general things one can do for your partner that I feel like no matter your love language, everybody's going to like that. Everyone's going to love it, I think. But either or, I just wanted to get that out the way and explain what that is. Now I'll get a sip. I'm sorry, y'all. That glare is really bothering me, but we're going to have to work with what we got. You know what I'm saying? As long as y'all can still see me for the most part and hear me that's the most important thing. We got it. So, again, this is your Equinox reading for the sign of Cancer, sun, moon, or rising. Nothing want to work today, huh? These cards don't even want to work now. If you would like a more so personal reading, you are able to book one. You just have to email me. You can find my email in the description box. Just remember that I will never reach out to you. Therefore, if there is someone reaching out to you via email or social media claiming to be me, it is a scammer. So be mindful of that. Let's get these cards going for the sign of Cancer. I'm not going to necessarily call this an extended reading because I know y'all had one yesterday, but if you want to include this message along with the message you got yesterday, feel free to do so, because it's up to you, honestly. But it's a totally different day and totally different reading. Yesterday was a general reading. This one is, for the equinox, and pretty much, you might have to balance in part what you might have to get in balance. All right. Geesh. All right. So you have the Two of Swords in reverse. So this is like a decision paralysis in a sense, like you ruminating on something, and depending on or judging on the rest of these cards, I think it has something to do with your career or career choice or just work in general, simply because you have this is not even your next card, but I'm showing it anyways. You have the Ten of Wands. This is about obligation and work and things of that nature and accomplishing things. But then your actual next card is the Knight of Pentacles. So, and again, sorry for that glare. If it's making it hard to see the cards, I apologize. Again, I don't know what the issue is with the camera. Apple products, you always... Anyway, so there's a decision maybe that you're kind of struggling to make when it comes to maybe affairs of money maybe or work. But this does show someone who is reliable and practical, and disciplined. So whatever that work is, you are someone who is able to do it, and then as I just showed you, the Ten of Wands is upright. Yeah, that is like somewhat struggling to work. But that can also mean that, and the card right next to it pretty much symbolizes that whatever this work that you might think you're going to struggle to do, it's not necessarily, it's not going to weigh you down for long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not actually going to be work or something that you struggle with. And it could have been the work from the readings I've done for you recently. Like, you're now deciding to put in the work, but there's a bit of part of you where you feel as though that you're inadequate, like you can't do the work, even though you're like, I want to do it, but I still don't have enough faith that I can do it. This reading is showing that you're actually stronger than you think. You do have the King of Cups in reverse as well. Poor guidance. This is selfish intentions, manipulative as well. I know this is your reading, and I say this all the time. I don't necessarily like to bring up other people's energies, but I don't think that this card specifically in this reading is to you. It's more so symbolizing, be aware of poor guidance. It's warning you of, you're not the one giving poor guidance, but you might be susceptible of being poorly guided by whoever. So it's just the universe telling you, while you're doing this work on yourself, as with all of us, when we do personal work, we tend to seek guidance from other outside individuals, whether it be a higher power, or just other individuals as well. I don't think this is symbolizing a higher power. I think this symbolizes another being. Okay, another being having the physical experience. Nonetheless, this being is not necessarily one that you should trust. So just be mindful of that. Then, like I said, you have the Ten of Wands. That was actually your fourth card, even though I showed it second. So again, this is you tending to your obligations, accomplishing things, but also like it's not going as smoothly as possible. Like, you are struggling, but you are getting things done, and the work is that you're trying to do for yourself, or the work in general that you're doing. It is getting done. But here's why I said I believe you're stronger than you think, because you have the Strength card that showed up right after the Ten of Wands. This is you taming that lion per se, that struggle, this is you having a grasp and hold on it. This is also the card of like compassion for oneself. Whether you're going through especially if you're going through a hard time, you still hold some type of compassion for yourself. You're not down on yourself. You're not calling yourself a failure. You're not saying you're this, that, and the third. Yeah, it's a card of assertiveness, but it's assertiveness in a sense of, it's also the card of assertiveness, but it's assertive in a sense of like, I have to get control of this thing. I have to control this lion, essentially, right? The lion is symbolic of, again, whatever you're trying to have a grasp on in your life. It's not a literal line, or at least not in this reading. Okay, maybe you do have a literal line, but I'm not going to pry. I think that is cool if you do got a literal line. I ain't gonna lie. But like, as far as just that line in your life, whatever it is symbolic of, that is what you are capable of controlling. Again, the Strength card. This is the Strength card. I know that glare is crazy, so I feel the need to repeat what it is, just in case it's hard to see. And it's not even sunlight glare. I'm telling y'all it's the camera, but let me stop. That's the end of your reading. So this is your Equinox reading for the sign of Cancer. Again, anywhere in your chart, sun, the moon, or rising. Autumn or spring equinox, depending on where you are. So this is where to tie it back to the message of balance, I feel like you need to have a good balance of honestly, like, your self-esteem. Like, you need to think higher of yourself, but you obviously don't want to. You don't become big-headed. Don't think that or you're better or become cocky or anything of that nature. But I think that there is an imbalance. If it applies, it applies. But if there's an imbalance of you not necessarily thinking highly of yourself, and all this work that you're doing, and especially the strength card is telling you that again, you are stronger than you think, and that you're stronger than the the credit that you give yourself. So just, that's the balance you need in your life, is more strength in the sense of realizing how strong you are. All right. So that's that. That is the autumn spring equinox reading that you have for today. If you would like a personal reading, again, hit up the inbox. Well, not the inbox, the description box, but email me. Leave a message in my email box, and we can go about scheduling one. I will never reach out to you asking you if you want one, or offering any other type of service. And definitely, I would never hit you up on social media with those same requests or anything of that nature. Okay? If someone is pretending to be me doing so, it is fake. Be wary of that. Okay? Until next time, until next episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for those who've been subscribing. Let's get these likes, comments, and shares up. And, of course, the subscriptions. And until next time, until next episode, you see me when you see me. Peace out.